Door handle tragedy. On February 24, 2019, Dr. Omar Awan was driving his Tesla Model S along South Flamingo Road in Davie, Florida, around 4:30 in the afternoon. The 48-year-old anesthesiologist and father of 5 was traveling at approximately 79 miles per hour when his vehicle drifted across multiple lanes. The car struck a median and slammed sideways into a palm tree. The impact immediately compromised the lithium-ion battery pack, and flames erupted from beneath the vehicle. Dr. Awan survived the initial collision and remained conscious inside the burning car. A Davie police officer arrived within minutes, followed quickly by bystanders who rushed to help. The rescuers surrounded the vehicle and attempted to pull the doors open, but the retractable door handles remained flush with the body of the car. The Tesla's electronic systems had failed in the crash, and the signature pop-out handles never extended. Rescuers clawed at the smooth door panels, finding no grip, no leverage, no way to access the trapped man inside. They attempted to break the reinforced windows, but the fire intensified too quickly. Within minutes, flames engulfed the cabin completely. Dr. Awan died from thermal burns and smoke inhalation while help stood just feet away. The family later filed a wrongful death lawsuit, alleging the door design was defective, while Tesla argued Awan was intoxicated and speeding. The case settled in 2023. TikTok trucker. On May 5, 2021, Stephen Michael Hendrickson was driving his white Tesla Model 3 on the 210 freeway near Fontana, California, at approximately 2:30 in the morning. The 35-year-old father of 2 had autopilot engaged as he traveled through the dark pre-dawn hours. Ahead of him, an 18-wheel semi-truck had overturned and was blocking 2 lanes of the highway. Hendrickson's hands were not on the steering wheel. Investigators later determined he was relying entirely on the automated system to navigate the road. The Tesla's sensors scanned the scene ahead, processing the data to identify obstacles and hazards. The white trailer of the overturned truck blended into the pale horizon of early morning, and the vehicle's computer failed to recognize it as an obstruction. The Model 3 maintained highway speed and slammed directly into the disabled semi without ever engaging the brakes. Hendrickson was killed instantly at the scene. The truck driver, who had been waiting for assistance after the initial accident, survived without additional injuries. Hendrickson had frequently posted videos on social media platforms, including TikTok and Instagram, showing himself riding with no hands on the wheel and praising Autopilot's capabilities. The NTSB investigation highlighted his documented history of misusing the driver assist technology, serving as a grim warning about overconfidence in automated systems. First Autopilot. Death. On May 7, 2016, Joshua Brown was driving his Tesla Model S with autopilot engaged along U.S. Highway 27A near Williston, Florida. The 40-year-old former Navy SEAL was traveling under clear, sunny skies at 3:40 in the afternoon. Brown was a devoted technology enthusiast who had nicknamed his Tesla Tessie and frequently praised the vehicle's automated features. An 18-wheel tractor-trailer driven by Frank Baresi approached from the opposite direction and began making a left turn across the highway directly into Brown's path. The Tesla's camera system scanned the intersection ahead, but the bright white side of the trailer reflected the afternoon sun and blended seamlessly with the pale sky behind it. The automated system failed to distinguish the massive truck from the background. The Model S did not brake and drove at full speed, 74 miles per hour, directly underneath the trailer. The underside of the truck sheared off the entire roof of the Tesla. Brown suffered massive craniocerebral trauma and died instantly. The now roofless vehicle continued traveling down the highway for nearly a mile, crossing through fences and finally striking a utility pole before coming to rest. Witnesses reported the car's video screen was still playing a Harry Potter movie when they reached the wreckage. This became the first known fatal autopilot accident, triggering a massive NTSB investigation that forced Tesla to update its radar and camera software systems. Pond trap. On the night of February 10, 2024, Angela Chow left a guest house on her private ranch in Johnson City, Texas, to drive back to the main residence. The 50-year-old shipping industry CEO and sister-in-law of Mitch McConnell was behind the wheel of her Tesla Model X around 11:30. The main house was only a 4-minute drive away through the property. Chow attempted to execute a K-turn on the narrow ranch road using the vehicle's touchscreen gear shifter. She intended to shift into drive, but accidentally selected reverse instead. The Model X accelerated backward over a limestone embankment and plunged into a stock pond on the property. The vehicle immediately began sinking into the cold water. Chow frantically called her friend Amber, explaining that water was rising inside the cabin. Friends and ranch staff rushed to the pond and waded into the freezing water surrounding the sinking vehicle. They pounded on the windows and attempted to break the glass, but the laminated safety windows resisted every impact. Fire and police units arrived and struggled to position tow chains around the submerged Tesla. Rescuers finally smashed through a window while the vehicle was underwater and pulled Chow from the cabin approximately 1 hour after the initial plunge. They performed resuscitation efforts on the bank of the pond, but she was pronounced dead at the scene. The incident sparked intense debate, electronic gear shifters and laminated glass in water emergencies. If you found this informative, I cover stories like these regularly. Consider subscribing if you'd like to see more. Speed limiter override. On May 8, 2018, 18-year-old Barrett Riley was driving his father's Tesla Model S with his friend Edgar Montserrat Martinez along Seabreeze Boulevard in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. The time was 6:46 in the evening, and both high school seniors were days away from graduation. 2 months earlier, Barrett's parents had taken the car to Tesla and requested installation of a software speed limiter set at 85 miles per hour. The parents believed the electronic restriction would keep their son safe, and Tesla technicians confirmed the limiter was active. What they did not know was that Barrett had returned to a Tesla service center weeks later and asked a technician to remove the safety feature. The technician complied with the teenager's request without contacting the vehicle's registered owner or verifying parental consent. Barrett accelerated through a residential area with a posted limit of 25 miles per hour. The Model S reached 116 miles per hour as it approached a sharp curve. Barrett lost control, and the car struck a concrete wall with devastating force. The battery pack ruptured on impact, and the vehicle exploded into flames so intense that witnesses could not approach. Both teenagers died in the inferno. Edgar Montserrat Martinez was transported to Broward Health Medical Center, where he was pronounced dead. Barrett Riley died at the scene. A jury later found Tesla 1% negligent for removing the limiter without parental consent, while attributing 90% of blame to the teen driver and 9% to his father. Apple engineer. On March 23, 2018, Walter Huang was driving his Tesla Model X to work along U.S. Route 101 in the Mountain View corridor of California. The 38-year-old Apple software engineer had Autopilot engaged as he approached the Highway 85 interchange at 9:27 in the morning. Huang had previously complained to his wife that the vehicle consistently veered toward a specific barrier at this exact location. The Tesla approached the interchange where faded lane markings created confusion for the automated system. Instead of following the curve of the highway, Autopilot steered left into the Gore Point, a triangular neutral zone between diverging lanes. The vehicle accelerated to 71 miles per hour and aimed directly at the concrete crash attenuator designed to absorb impacts. The attenuator had been damaged in a previous accident and never replaced, eliminating much of its protective capability. The Model X smashed into the deteriorated barrier with full force, breaching the battery compartment. The vehicle erupted in flames immediately after impact. Rescuers pulled Huang from the burning wreckage and transported him to Stanford Hospital, but he died from his injuries hours later. Investigators determined Huang was playing a mobile game called Three Kingdoms on his phone at the moment of the crash. Tesla settled a lawsuit with the Huang family on the eve of trial in 2024, preventing a public verdict on whether Autopilot was defectively designed. Driverless mystery. On April 17, 2021, Dr. William Varner and his friend Everett Talbot took Varner's Tesla Model S for a short drive through the Woodlands, Texas. The 59-year-old Varner wanted to demonstrate the vehicle's features to 69-year-old Talbot around 11:25 at night. They traveled through the wealthy subdivision of Hammock Dunes Place. The Model S covered only a few hundred yards before missing a curve and striking a tree with significant force. The lithium-ion battery ignited immediately, and flames consumed the vehicle. Local firefighters responded to the scene and battled the intense chemical fire for 4 hours, using over 30,000 gallons of water before finally extinguishing the blaze. When investigators recovered the bodies, they discovered Dr. Varner in the rear passenger seat and Everett Talbot in the front passenger seat. The driver's seat was empty. Police initially announced that no one had been driving the vehicle, triggering global media coverage and widespread speculation about autonomous vehicle safety. The NTSB later determined that Varner had been driving at the time of impact, but moved to the back seat after the crash, likely attempting to escape through a rear door as flames surrounded the vehicle. Autopilot could not have been activated on that particular road due to its design. Both men died from thermal injuries and blunt force trauma. Although autopilot was cleared, the incident highlighted the terrifying difficulty of extinguishing electric vehicle battery fires. Cybertruck Inferno. On August 5, 2024, 44-year-old Michael Sheehan was driving a newly released Tesla Cybertruck along Fisher Road near Baytown, Texas. The time was approximately 1:45 in the morning when the angular stainless steel vehicle left the roadway near the Grand Parkway. The truck struck a concrete culvert with tremendous force, causing massive structural damage to the frame and body. The impact compromised the large battery pack beneath the vehicle's floor, and an immediate high-intensity metal fire erupted from the wreckage. The flames were exceptionally severe due to the size of the Cybertruck's battery system and the combustible materials inside the cabin. The fire burned so hot that the vehicle's signature stainless steel exoskeleton, designed to be nearly indestructible, became largely unrecognizable. Sheehan was trapped inside the burning wreckage with no possibility of escape. The extreme heat and intensity of the chemical fire
made any rescue attempt impossible. Emergency responders arrived to find the vehicle completely engulfed, and the blaze continued for an extended period despite firefighting efforts. The intense thermal damage to the body made initial identification difficult, requiring DNA verification to confirm Sheehan's identity. He was pronounced dead at the scene. This became one of the first high-profile fatal crashes involving the Cybertruck, raising immediate questions about the safety of the vehicle's rigid exoskeleton design and the challenges rescuers face with such fires. Insider death. On May 16, 2022, Hans von Ohain was driving his Tesla Model 3 with his friend Eric Rossiter along Upper Bear Creek Road in Kittredge, Colorado. The 33-year-old von Ohain worked as a recruiter for Tesla and was a devoted believer in the company's mission and technology. According to Rossiter, they were using the full self-driving beta software as they navigated the winding mountain road that evening. The Model 3 approached a sharp curve in the mountain terrain, and the vehicle failed to navigate the turn properly. Von Ohain attempted to regain control as the car began steering off the roadway, but his corrections came too late. The Tesla left the pavement and struck a tree, and flames immediately consumed the vehicle. Rossiter managed to escape the burning wreckage and called 911 from the roadside. He told dispatchers that they had been on auto drive and the car just went straight through the curve. Von Ohain remained trapped inside as the fire intensified. The autopsy later revealed he died from smoke inhalation and thermal injuries. Despite being the first known Tesla employee death linked to full self-driving software, the company denied the system was at fault and pointed to von Ohain's blood alcohol level of 0.26. However, Rossiter insisted the car's steering behavior initiated the crash before any manual intervention was possible. The case highlighted a profound irony. A man who recruited others to build autonomous vehicle technology was killed by the very system he promoted. If this was informative, consider subscribing so you don't miss future content. Thanks for watching.